this time of day except for motion hearing. Ms. Herron filed a motion regarding parenting time. She is in the courtroom. She's in pro se. Mr. Williams is present, represented by Attorney Dennis W. Reed. Will both parties please raise their right hand?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Herron, you may proceed.
Well, I want to see Xander X. I haven't seen him in a year and a half, almost 2, for some issues.
What issues?
They were taking CPS back in 2023, 2022. I was seeing him supervised for a while. West stopped the visits. I got him back. 3 weeks later, my son was murdered. I'm taken away again, and I haven't seen Xander since.
Is the child still with father?
He's been with father since they were taken the first time. He was taken the first time.
I'm assuming there's a companion case, a petition in another county, correct?
It's Tuscola County. X was dropped off of it. The other 3 kids are returning home by the end of April. And X was.
But that's not been ordered yet.
Yeah, the order is right here. She signed it and made it.
Who's she?
Who is she over there? Nancy Fain?
Judge Thane?
Yeah.
Anything else for me to consider?
No.
Judge, I filed a rather fairly lengthy response and a supplemental response. I received a letter yesterday from TAPS, who has been counseling the child for the last 16 months. I'm handing a copy of that to mother now. I just received it yesterday during the noon hour and sent it up to the court for consideration. There is a lot here, and I touched on it in my response. This case goes back to an Oakland County CPS case that was opened in 2023. And the child in question here in this case was removed from mother's care, I believe like maybe at the end of 2022. And then in February of 2023, my client came before the court and the parties worked out an agreement, and he was granted full physical custody of the child with joint legal, no parenting time unless it was approved, so to speak, by the Oakland County Child Protective Services Agency in the court down there. They did, and she was granted 1 hour supervised per week initially up here and then down in Lapeer County for a while. And then in October of 2023, mother apparently wanted to have her boyfriend, whose name is in the court file there, participate in the visitation with this child. Why, I don't know, but my client posed it, and CPS out of Oakland County didn't do anything further, and she never saw the child again. And then I understand sometime after that, the children were returned to mother, but this child remained with father under this court's order. And about 2 weeks later, her boyfriend, who she wanted to have come for visitation with this child, ended up allegedly murdering their very young child. According to what information we have, that child was beaten to death, 17 fractures, and died apparently at home. The child had been left in the care of that gentleman by mother. Again, we're getting this secondhand because my clients can only go so far into that matter himself. But mother,
was there a plea entered?
No, that's how I get to it.
Okay.
During the investigation, we're told, and I haven't verified this yet through the copy of the police report, but we're told that mother told the detective that she didn't trust this gentleman, the man that killed her child, and yet she left this child with this gentleman. So there's things going on here. There was a plea offer made from what I've been able to track down to this gentleman over in Tuscola County. He rejected it. And there's, from what I've supplied to the court, it's a public record, there's a trial scheduled for April 15th on open homicide charge. So feasibly, he's facing maybe the rest of his life in prison if he's convicted of that, unless he is able to work out a plea bargain in the next couple of weeks here. We would like this motion, basically nothing done with it right now until we see what happens here with the reunification, with the outcome of this jury trial, and what mother's involvement really was in that whole situation that ended up in the death of her very young child. We don't know. We have bits and pieces that Child Protective Services has provided to my client, but as not being a party in that case and his child is with him, the information is pretty bare bones. I've told you basically what we believe to be the truth here on this. So I'd ask that the motion be denied at this point. I was able to get a hold of the counselor. It unfortunately took several days to get a response, but you can see.
But it is hearsay.
It is, I realize that, Judge. But I think it's important in this regard. The child has been with this counselor for 16 months. Not just a few days or a few weeks, you know. She's been counseling this child for 16 months. And she is against any contact at this time with mother. And so if the court wants to proceed in some fashion with this, in light of all of this stuff, I'd ask that it be referred in front of the court, let that office investigate it properly, and they have access to a lot of the stuff that we don't. And they can get the police report, they can get the CPS reports, and they can find out what's going on here exactly. And then make a recommendation on where we go from this. But this is one I think we need to be very careful with. Mother hasn't seen this child, and from what I understand, hasn't even made any effort to see this child since October of 2023. That alone is enough right there to slow down the process of reunification of mother. This child is not involved in the reunification plan that's supposedly underway over in Driscoll County. I don't know why. Seems like it should be, but it's not. And it appears to me, just looking at it as a bystander here, that agency is doing nothing because this court has the jurisdiction over that child and can do whatever orders it wishes. Child's protected at this point in time. I think everybody will acknowledge that. There's nothing wrong with my client's home. And my client wants to proceed very cautiously with this until we find out more of this information and we see what goes on with the reunification. Because this is not the first time mother has had reunification with her other children and failed. Just in the last 2 or 3 years. And so now I want to throw this child back into this mix, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We're talking about a very young child here who has had some problems here, and I think that's exhibited in the TAPS letter. I know it's hearsay, but I think the court can take some notice of that there's ongoing efforts to deal with the troubling experiences that this child has had in its life. Do we risk then sending the child home for a third time, and here we are again? A mess. So I either ask the motion be denied at this point or refer to the front of the court.
Thank you. Anything else?
No.
Yes, go ahead.
I mean, I see where they're coming from, but the criminal case has nothing to do with me. I have tried to see Xander, even in ab close when they did come home, when the other kids came home, January 29th, I was like, anyway, we can talk about seeing Xander, and the only way he would let me see Xander is I'd be in full custody of everything. Like, if I have the paperwork stating that. So I have tried to see Xander, and when the other kids were taking the last time, my hands were tied. Because if he didn't come to if he didn't bring him to the supervisor, then I couldn't do nothing about it. Because they had jurisdiction. And the only reason why he's off the case is because Mrs. Thane, Judge Thane, thought it was because I haven't seen him, just to drop him off the case because the other kids are coming home and then to come up. And she told us all prior orders remain in effect. So all prior orders, I have to come back to this court and get visitation, parenting time. I'm not asking, I mean, even if it's for a couple hours. I mean, I know I haven't seen him in a while and I get that, but you can't use a criminal case and my baby daddy on me.
Thank you. I respectfully beg to differ. Now I understand what this is involving. And if this is a pending matter in Tuscola County, I believe it's an open murder charge
Yes.
regarding the other child. And the child is with mother and this individual at the time. I'm not going to consider the letter because it's hearsay. We would need testimony from the therapist regarding that. However, as it pertains to the motion right now, I find it, because again, the court has to find the proper cause or change in circumstance to review this. And right now, I think it's not right yet for the court to review because there's the pending criminal matter. And I'm hearing allegations that, and again, allegations, because nothing's been established, but allegations that Ms. Herron didn't trust this individual that left the child. And as far as the court's concerned, when it comes to behaviors on behalf of one child, that shouldn't be any different for the other child. So I find this motion to be prematurely filed after the criminal proceeding. It might be at that point in time, once all the smoke clears, and it sounds like April is the trial date. Anytime after that, I think would be more appropriate for this motion to be heard. But as of right now, it's not the appropriate time. I respectfully am denying the motion in this case.
Thank you, Judge.
Valerie?
She is just refusing to let me have parenting time. I have showed up to the state police post as instructed in our parenting time motion or our parenting agreement. She's just flat out refusing.